Well, welcome, everyone. I am so delighted to have a couple minutes with the very special Wilhelm. He is the hotel general manager for Windstar Cruises on the Star Legend, what we're on right now. And we have a couple minutes to get to chat with him. So I'm excited, and I know he's excited.
Definitely.
Welcome. Thank you so much to be on our little show. We're excited about this. We'd love to know a little bit about you. Where are you from, and how long have you been at sea?
So I'm from Austria,
Okay.
yes, and 23 years it should be now. I stopped counting actually.
Yes.
After a while, you stop counting,
That's right.
and yeah, but not all the way through 23 years. My first ship was 86, and then on and off at times, but 23 years,
23 years.
and I love
I bet.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great industry to be in. So I assume over those 23 years you've been with various ships and companies. Um, I would love to tell our viewers what you feel one of the main differences between all the other cruise lines you've worked with and Windstar.
That it's on one hand a difficult question
Mm-hmm.
to ask, but on the other hand, it's easy for me in one way to answer. The difference is that we really want to be personal, and on a small ship as we are, we can, and we can make it as a like look at or feel the guests that are coming home, and that is our credo. Not only our credo, but we feel that is so important, especially nowadays in the world as well, where you always need a wonderful place to be, and that's what we want to be.
And you have achieved that, absolutely. You know, I wrote a letter to the captain, as I usually do after a cruise that I'm getting familiar with, and I always like to try to give some compliments out because I know in this world there are more criticisms than compliments. And there was no criticisms at all. However, I would say the biggest compliment we could give Windstar is that you served us to the level that we used to serve our guests when we were working long time ago on cruise ships ourselves. As you know, Joel and I worked for Princess, and he was a 5-star silver service butler. So we do know what good service looks like. And boy, did you achieve that. And not just luxury service, with a casual feel, which is so nice because it wasn't stuffy. There's
Yes,
kind of sometimes a little too far. Some people don't want to go on vacation and have to feel like they have to
yeah,
be in an environment that
that's
feels a
right.
little bit uptight. But it was casual luxury at its finest, where we could notice all the staff was friendly, authentic, genuine, kind, spirited. They truly wanted you to have the best vacation ever, and that's what we felt. So you have achieved that on this with this company, truly. I would love for you to explain the role of hotel director, hotel manager on cruise ships because people don't really understand what it is. So just a couple of points of really what it is you do.
I'm the voice of our company as well, and I what I do I just uh, combine or I manage our middle management,
Mm-hmm.
so I convey information to them. I do a lot of plannings, taking away from yeah, or they can really focus on each individual of the departments, and I do the overall planning, and then together uh, we make the cruise happen.
You do the overall planning
Yes,
and make sure that you take all of the really hard stuff out of the job so
correct.
the other managers don't have to do all of those details.
Administ- Administration work
Mm-hmm.
in general, and also that all the information we get from the office, I combine them, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have meetings, and then I let all our middle management know, also my colleagues. Um, each department has its own manager, for
Mm-hmm.
example, the maître for the restaurant, chef de cuisine. So each department I want them to really focus on their speciality, and I'm the one. Not only that I have done all the departments myself in my
Mm-hmm.
career, um, but I really want to make all the programs, and then we sit together, and everyone gets his tasks. So and then we are ready
Perfect.
to provide all the services to our guests.
I think
Yeah.
another thing that you do, Wilhelm, is you set the tone of the crew. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I found that you were omnipresent, as I would say, on this cruise. In fact, I thought at one point you might be the captain, although I know the stripes, and I was like, I don't know, I think he's missing one of those things. But you literally were omnipresent, and your jovial nature and your fun-loving feel it. I believe that leads the crew. It leads the crew in energetic qualities. It makes them feel comfortable. You're very approachable. You're with the guests constantly. I saw you interacting with the guests constantly. So I feel like you actually set the tone for some of the crew members to actually be a leader in that sense.
And that's the really magic word. Being a leader
Yeah.
is because I always had a great leaders in my career as well, and I know how it feels when you're under a stressful situation and there's a person not necessarily saying that he knows more, but I have the experience, and I want to give my experience to my team as well. So that's why I like to be around. They have an issue, they have a problem, they can approach me,
Yes, you're
and we
very
solve it
approachable.
again. Yeah,
Absolutely, 100%.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. So, from a guest perspective, and I mean, you work with the guests constantly as well, and I'm sure you get all their feedback. As the hotel manager, you get all the feedback. Um, what do you feel like from a guest perspective, if you could, the difference between Windstar and most other cruise lines from the guest perspective?
It is that we are really very personal with
Mm-hmm.
with the guest, and I always say we like to read their minds. We
Yes,
really like to get to know them, and what are their preferences, what do they like, and then we really like to surprise them.
surprise them. Yes.
Yes, yes.
So I'd love to share two quick stories that remind me of what you just said. Is you'd like to get to know them and to read their minds. So today I ordered a cappuccino, and I had ordered it directly from the coffee bar while we were at the breakfast veranda buffet, and I did not know where I was sitting yet. And magically, and I said this, it was magic. He brought over my cappuccino. I'm like, how did you know where I was sitting when I ordered that? I didn't even know where I was sitting. So he knew where I was sitting before I did, it seemed. That was very magic. My son, who is 15 and enjoyed this cruise immensely, he actually said that when I said, "Honey, what are you most excited for during this trip? We are going to Rome, and we're going to Livorno, we're going to France, and we're going to Spain, and we're going actually after this to Portugal." And his answer was, "I'm most excited for the ship." If you can imagine, and he has loved this experience, this personal experience. He got on board, and the person that was helping us with the luggage um, pressed the elevator button for him, and he goes, "He knew what I needed before I needed it." So those are two really simplistic examples, but that we felt exactly that way. You were able to read our minds.
Exactly.
That's perceptional service. That is
Yeah.
just that is like gone from most all other cruise lines. I'm sorry to say, and with a casual luxury experience, not this stuffy. There are a few other cruise lines that come to mind, having been in the industry for many years myself, that might be able to do things like that, but almost make you feel like you have to be a little bit too stiff yourself. You know, there's this casual luxury experience that
Yes,
is
yes.
just exceptional here on Windstar. Okay, a couple of things about Windstar, and we're almost at the end of our interview. We thank you so much for joining us. What are the real differences between the Win class and the Power Yacht Star class, besides the sails? Of course, we know there are sails on the Win class, but what do you think the difference is for our guests?
There isn't any.
There isn't any?
We don't want to be different there with what we are providing on services and so on. But it is, in general, the feel of being on a sailing vessel. It has a completely different, or it creates a different atmosphere and ambiance. This old style of sailing, and that's because the rest we want to do exactly the same. We don't want that the guests feel different, but we want them to feel different because of the ship itself, or yeah, the flavor of the seas, and it's more quiet there as well. You you feel a little breeze, and it makes the guests feel differently. But
Interesting.
we don't want that we are having that we are having a different approach from our staff, from our crew officers to the guests. We really want to give them the same wonderful experiences when it comes to services and taking care of the guests. But the rest is they get a different feel on the ships. The surf is a little bit larger, but it it has this magical of the sailing vessel, being on a sailing vessel, and not necessarily means that you have to always have to have the sails out. It just comes automatically
Mm,
as soon as they step on board. Um, it's completely different than
interesting.
stepping to us on a yacht, because everything is also so open
Right.
on the sailing vessels. There's a lot of open space.
Because it has to be ergonomically for that.
Exactly,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that creates a very specific feel, and also the old way of um, um,
Getting to your
crusading
destination.
on the
Yeah.
oceans
Right.
and
Crusading.
getting
That's.
to the destinations.
Mm.
There are some great movies out there from historical movies as well. One of them is, of course, Conquest of Paradise,
Okay.
2092,
I haven't seen that one.
where
We'll have to look it up.
we have the music, the music during our flag raising, and the sailing vessels, they unfurl the sails to that music,
To that music.
and that is when Christopher Columbus conquered South America, and so it's the whole spirit and feel of the old way of sailing, and
I
we are
love
so
it.
proud to have the sailing vessels.
This is exciting. Well, I have to tell you, I was really very impressed. I haven't seen the sailing vessel yet. I got to do a tour on this particular ship when it was in Miami for a minute, and I was so impressed with the all suite yacht. It's so plush. Everything feels so nice. Even these chairs. We're in the movie theater. That, by the way, although this vessel is incredibly small in comparison to all the big ships these days, I didn't even know this was here. I almost missed it until Wilhelm just showed this area to me. There's so many little crevices and areas to find on these beautiful ships. Um, I like to. I will close with one last question, but before I do that, I want to just mention that Windstar is featured on Travel Weekly, and this happens to be the same Travel Weekly that the Magellan Awards were featured on. And TravelFun.biz has its own little promotion in here. We're in the back. I'm not going to bother showing you, but you get this one. Travel Fun is in the same one. I think it's meant to be. I truly do. I think that's meant to be, that the first time we are in Travel Weekly, Windstar is being promoted on the cover photo. So that to me is very cool. I get this asked all the time. I'm sure you do too. And I know it's difficult to answer because, of course, we love all places. And that is the truth. There is something very cool about every place. If you've been at sea for long enough, you know that this is a very difficult question to answer, at least for me. What is your favorite itinerary and why?
It's always the one I'm on right now. I know you have heard this many times. Um,
It's very PC. Wilhelm, come on, give me a little more. Come on,
it's
Wilhelm.
uh, I'm I come from the mountainous areas, and though the ocean is on like sea level, obviously, I like fjords. So Norway
Yes,
is
the
one of the
fjords.
wonderful places,
I haven't been to the north.
and also Scotland.
I haven't been there either.
So it's all these nice little cruising, and again, it's because it's peaceful, quiet, but also enticing. You look at the beautiful fjords, the waterfalls coming down, and you go to these small little places, villages. So there's not really cities,
Right.
and that's
That's the
very
best
nice. That's really great, and our guests like it as well.
for sure.
Um, yeah, that's when it comes to cruising. But now we are here in. Um, there's a second part of what I like is to the very typical culinary side with all the beautiful markets, and
Mm.
that's where we are right now.
Right, you can go
Yeah,
shopping with the chef,
yeah.
which is something you could never do on a big ship. A couple things the Windstar ways that are different, and I call it the Windstar difference. I will be sharing my WinStar different moments on travelfund.biz. So please follow our page to get all of our exciting updated information. When I get home, I'll download all of our fun little videos. But there are some magical moments, one of which is you get to go shopping with the chef sometimes. Of course, they have the galley tours. They have an open bridge, which we did a video with Jack from the bridge. Amazing. You can actually go to the bridge on WinStar, which is unheard of these days. And those are super, super special moments and magic areas that you just don't get on any other cruise line. I am going to share that when I am forced to answer that question of my favorite itinerary and why, it's usually Bora Bora. That's what I always say. I said if I have to if I absolutely have to choose Bora Bora, and I choose that one because in my opinion, it's got some magnetism, some magical moments of magnetism that you can get like nowhere else. And we are doing a Power Couples cruise to Bora Bora on the WindStar Breeze, which is a sister ship to this, in 2025, which is going to be amazing. I hope you can join us. And of course, we are doing Greece in 2024 on this ship. It's amazing. So please do not miss this. If you have any questions, DM me. I'm Shelby. You're fabulous. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Shelby.
We're so happy.
So great.
Bye bye.
This had to be